Hello, Forbes. I can hear you. Can you hear me now, Forbes? How you doing? You know, everyone in the chat room can hear you right now. Hundreds and hundreds, well, if not 10 or so people. So Alan says hi, Forbes. Jill says hi. Sandy says hi. Kevin is referring to you. Oh boy, this ought to be a hoot. Sienna won't be that good with headphones, Forbes. Sienna's first broadcast, yes, Sandy. Yep. Hi, Sienna. How are you? We're not live yet. You got 30 seconds. $15 seconds.
Off!
We are live.
Hi, everybody. This is Sienna and Forbes. They're going to help us out with the show. You want to say hi to everybody, Forbes?
Hello.
Hi, Forbes.
Sienna doesn't talk much yet.
Oh. Now that was
She's
pleasant.
talking.
Forbes, you got to be a little quieter. Oh, he probably can't hear me, can he?
No, he can't hear you, but say hi, Sienna.
There you go.
She has been known to make hand farts, so. All right. Well, you guys are being very nice. Nope, don't make gross noises. Nope.
Could I wear the headphones?
Could you wear the headphones? Yeah, all you hear Pip here say is stop making that noise.
Why
She's
is there
looking right
two
at the camera.
screens of us?
Oh, it's hard to explain. There you go. Now
Hi,
Pip here can
Forbes.
hear you.
You can hear me now, right?
Hello.
You don't have to get quite that close. You can just speak normally.
There's your face.
Oh.
There you- Very good, Sienna. Okay, I think we should get on with the
She's doing
show.
it. She's talking to the mic. Good job, Sienna.
And now Allison can't hear me.
Mugging for the camera, too.
Tell
Palaka-looking
Not a
cow.
touchscreen,
so
Sienna.
Forbes, tell Mimir it's time to get on with the show.
All right. Well, we should probably cut this off.
It's time to go on the show.
Time to go. All right. That's such. Okay. You want? Oh, sorry. You want to hear Pip here, Sienna? Say something
Hi,
to her.
Sienna. How are you doing today? Do you hear me?
You see Pip here?
Yeah. Hi. Okay,
All right.
we're good.
I gotta do the show, Sienna. All right. We're giving you the hook. Do you want to say hi, Linz?
Hi, everybody.
Hiya.
Shh, do not scream into the microphone.
All right.
Hi,
Andy
everybody.
says hi.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Sandy.
Okay, bye-bye. Close the door behind us. All right, let's get the camera up for a normal height person. All right, I'm sure Alan has probably already asked me to do roll call. And you met two of the people here. We've got Alan and Brett and Kevin and Bruce and Frank and Jill and John and Sandy and Steve. And who's in the sidebar here? Who do we got? We got John, Jill, Nuclear John, who may or may not be here. We got Rose and no wheels today. Oh, but Alistair's here.
Yes.
Must be a holiday.
Good timing on Alistair's part.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me mute Discord. And I'm going to actually quit Telegram. I just don't have the space for it. There's Alan's roll call. Oh, you like watching the little monsters there? All right. We should probably get started because things will probably go wrong. By the way, this is my new lighting. What do you think?
Not bad.
This is using the internal cameras on our 14-inch MacBook Pros, and we both have the Logitech Lytro Glow light that I am about to tell you about today.
Cool.
I didn't talk about it last week, huh? I must have just showed it to the live audience and then I cut the segment.
I think you did.
Okay. Alistair, top tip. Don't leave the podfeed.com/live tab open as well as the dedicated YouTube page.
Yeah, that's a lot of pod feet.
Exactly.
Out of sequence. No, you haven't missed roll. Well, I don't think
Well,
you
yeah, he
missed it.
just did roll call a little bit late, but that's
All right.
fine.
Oh, you forgot the daughter.
Oh, Lindsay the daughter. Wait, where are you? Are you in
She
the
must be in the
sidebar?
sidebar. I don't see her. That's weird.
I don't see you, Lindsay.
Somehow she's
You're not showing in the sidebar or in the, but I know you are on.
invisible.
Huh.
She must have an unusual setting.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know how you managed to do that.
It's called
Oh,
incognito.
she's a moderator. That's why. She's at the
Oh.
top. How did you get to be moderator, Lindsay?
I think she got a hold of your MacBook.
Oh, that's true. Okay, I happen to be drinking a fine Ballast Point Sculpin IPA tonight. Whoop. No product placement here at all, right? Steve, you're drinking one as well?
Yes, but it's in a Wander Brewing mugs or glass, so not quite the same branding.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So the only downside to using the internal camera, by the way, we both brought our Logitech C920s with us. The internal camera on the MacBook Pros is better than the Logitech C920 by far. The color correction, the whole thing is much better, I think. Don't you too, Steve?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The only problem is I have to tilt it like it's actually tilted towards me more than I would like. I'd like to be reading like this, but you wouldn't be able to see my lovely face. So I have to tilt the whole thing instead. That's unfortunate. Oh, you'd like to not be one because it always asks me to start my microphone, and I'm so worried everyone will hear me. I could probably strip you of privileges. Maybe I'll do that after the fact, though, after the show. All right. I think we're going to get started.
Yes.
Let's see. So I got to get back over here. Do that there. I'm going to be up on this track.
We have a new new participant. Where
we reveal?
we reveal or where
Hello, we reveal.
or where we're veal. Oh, a lot of different readings out of that one.
All right. Well, you work on who that is while I am going to record the show. Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, January 30th, 2022, and this is show number 873. Well, we're recording on the road at Lindsay's house this week, which is always an adventure. This is our first time with the new 14-inch MacBook Pros, and so far, I think we're having a really good experience with these. We used to have a lot of dropped frames when we were broadcasting from her house, and I think it was because of Steve was on a fairly old, maybe 4-year-old MacBook Pro, I think. And now with the MacBook Pro Max 14-inch, it's killing it. We're last I saw it was 0 frames lost, so this is working much better for the live show. And we also, of course, had the debut of Sienna May, Lindsay's daughter, as coming in on the live show to chat with the audience a little bit, as always with Forbes. So that was fun. But anyway, this show for the listening audience, we do have something special. Not only do we have a review from Alistair Jenks, which is always a treat, my son Kyle will be making his NosillaCast debut. Now, I hope he notices that my granddaughter was on before he was on, so that'll be good. Anyway, it's a pretty interesting interview and a couple of pieces even from me. We still at 0 drop frame, Steve?
Yes, we are. I mean, I'm dropping audio, but that's because it's USB, so I never worry about that. I don't think it's a problem. But all the video frames are good.
All right, let's see if my Hindenburg thing works. Oh, this is hard. There we go. Yep, it worked. Good. It's a little hard because I've got my arm wrapped around a microphone stand here, so using my hands is problematic here. All right, so I'm looking for Moment MagSafe mount. And hopefully you remember what it looks like. Actually, I do have it here, but I don't think we need to look at it again. All right. Berg. All right. Muting Steve. Like any good iPhone camera. Okay, good. Glad I stopped. Didn't record. Oh, shoot. Why is it not? Like any good iPhone camera fanatic, I have a plethora of tiny tripods on which I can mount my iPhone. From the jellyfish tripods I reviewed way back in 2014, to the classic Joby tripods that can wrap around anything, to the Joby Grip-Tight 1 micro stand that Pat Dengler told us about in 2019, they all have one thing in common. You have to attach a mount to the tripod in order to hold your phone. Some tripod mounts come with a spring clamp to hold your phone. In order to use one of these spring clamps with your phone, you first spread the clamp open, pulling against that spring force. Now, tripods have a 1/4 inch, 20 threads per inch screw that goes into the bottom of the mount to secure it to the tripod. These spring clamps work to hold your phone, but in my opinion, they don't work well. The first problem is that the clamps have to be sized to stretch open to fit phones as large as the iPhone Pro Max or the Pixel 6 Pro down to tiny phones like the iPhone SE. As a result, it's really hard to stretch them open on the bigger phones. Throw a case on a phone and the problem gets even worse. Now, the problem has been exacerbated by the change in size of phones over time. The spring clamp on the Jellyfish I bought 8 years ago was for a phone much tinier than the phone I carry today. I can stretch it open wide enough for the iPhone 13 Pro, but it takes some strength to do it. There's another category of problem with the spring clamp mounts, and it's where you choose to clamp onto the phone. You have to decide whether to cover up the screen side or the back side. It all depends on whether you're recording yourself or away from you. But that isn't the worst part. You also have to be careful to stretch the clamps over an area of the phone sides that don't hit any buttons. I know this sounds easy, but on my iPhone 13 Pro, if I put the clamp so that the center of gravity of the phone is dead center on the clamp, then it turns down the volume and hits the power button. Not exactly what I'm looking for. I started thinking, you know what, there must be a better way, and I think I may have found it. Enter the Moment tripod mount for Magsafe. Now, Magsafe is a method to hold the phone, is much more elegant than a clamp, but it does require either an iPhone 12 or newer, or Moment offers a series of what they call M-Force cases, which allow a variety of phones to have the magnetic part of the Magsafe experience, at least with their tripod mounts. The design of the Moment Magsafe mount is simplicity itself. It's a solid metal bar that comes to a rounded end at the bottom to accommodate the 1/4 inch 20. Fumbled that too many times. Oh man, is this a pain. I need like an external trackpad, really. Ooh, I think I nailed it. I am hearing, are you guys hearing? I'm hearing every time everybody talks in Discord, I am hearing it. Sound effects should be coming from my head to my headphones. Oh, but I don't want to hear them either. Are you guys hearing feedback of my headphones, or of the system sounds from the from Discord? I'm hearing them from Lindsay's computer.
Yeah, I think I'm hearing it through the other room.
Oh, okay. All right, that's good. If you guys wouldn't be able to hear it. Okay, let's see. Of the Magsafe experience, at least with their tripod mounts. Okay. The design of the Moment Magsafe mount is simplicity itself. It's a solid metal bar that comes to a rounded end at the bottom to accommodate the 1/4 20 threaded hole that attaches it to a tripod. At the top, a round disc for the magnet encases both sides of the vertical bar. That's it. It's a stick with a magnet. Without a case on your phone, or if you have a Magsafe case, the proprietary M-Force magnet array holds your phone very securely in place. Now, I don't have a Magsafe case, and while my phone does technically stick with the iPhone case on it, it's not super secure. So I take the case off if I'm going to use the Moment tripod mount. Since the design is so simple, you can rotate the phone between portrait and landscape in small angular changes. Now, you can't pivot the phone, but that should be possible with the tripod you're using. If you're worried about the back of your phone getting scratched up by sticking to the Moment tripod mount, have no fear. The disc for the magnet has a nice rubbery surface to protect your phone. The Moment tripod mount is only 5 inches tall, including the 2¼ inch magnetic disc. The form factor is so sleek that carrying the 0.3-pound mount will be really easy for any camera bag. The tripod mount for Magsafe from Moment, that's a lot of M's, tripod mount for Magsafe from Moment, it's $40 at shopmoment.com. Now, if you need to add a light to your shooting or to mount an external microphone on top, you can buy the Pro Tripod Mount Pro. Believe it or not, it's Pro Tripod Mount Pro, Landscape and Portrait for $60. The Pro version is exactly like the base model, except it has a little bracket that mounts to a threaded hole in the center of the magnetic disc, on the other side, of course. The bracket is what they call a cold shoe. If you're unfamiliar with that term, it's a little slotted bracket to mount to hold external lights and microphones. While a hot shoe is a bracket that also provides power, a cold shoe is just the mounting bracket for the light or microphone. If your light or mic doesn't have a cold shoe attachment point, but instead has a 1/4 threaded hole, like my Cube light, Moment has you covered there too. They sell a little gadget called the Moment Cold Shoe to 1/4 mount for $9. It's one-stop shopping with Moment. If you want to use the Moment tripod mount on a big girl tripod, you may need to add additional piece of hardware. My Manfrotto tripod has a 1/4 thumb screw that goes into the tripod mount. The tripod then holds the mount in place by a rotating clamp, but it requires the mount to have a surface on the bottom to secure it in place, and since the Moment mount is this small cylinder, it would have nothing to clamp against, so it would kind of wobble in there. I just put a thin washer stuck to the side of my tripod bag for the times I want to use the Moment mount with the big girl tripod. The one thing to consider if you're interested in the Moment tripod mount is whether you really need to be able to record video or take portraits in portrait orientation. That requirement means the tripod mount has to be tall, like I just described. I tested using the Moment tripod mount landscape and portrait with some of my tiny tripods, and it was pretty top-heavy, so I was afraid it might fall over. If you'll only be using it with heftier tripods, like the bigger Jobies, for example, that won't be a problem. But if you know you're not ever going to need to shoot in portrait orientation, you might consider buying the Pro Moment tripod mount landscape, which costs the same $60, but the vertical bar piece is much shorter. That would make it much less top-heavy. Now, I've been quoting the prices on the Moment website, but I found the Pro version of the mount for $50 on the Moment store on Amazon, $10 less than on their own website, so Amazon was $10 cheaper. The regular mount is the same price on Amazon as on the Moment website. Overall, I'm quite pleased with the Moment tripod mount for Magsafe. It's not cheap, but it's sleek and simple. It fits a lot of phone models, and it never turns the volume down or shuts the phone off. Here we go.
Okay, so we have an update. I think We Reveal is Bill, and he switched over accounts to, I think, what his normal account is. Bill.
Salter?
Just Bill.
Just Bill.
Just Bill, yeah. I think Bill is William Reveal, but I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin, remember?
Was he being bad?
Well, I thought you asked him to cut down the number of saves. Oh, yeah,
I did. Kevin. Copy link. There we go. All right. For the first time ever, you're going to hear Lindsay's brother. That's how I should have introduced him.
Oh, yeah. You still can. So this does not have a, well, it does have a link, but not a blog post.
Correct. I guess I didn't put no blog post, and I normally do that for you, right?
Well, right. Yeah, normally it's not a link.
Yeah, but I figured for John, maybe he could figure out, he would be able to understand what was going on if I had it be so at least had a link to the thing that they wanted to buy.
So did Bill submit an input on the previous show? Bill William Reveal?
Yeah, the PHP Storm review.
Ah,
that's it.
Thank you, Bill, and welcome back. Well, welcome. back in another form.
What is going on? It's Option T, right? What's going on?
PHP Storm, yeah. That was good.
Okay, one of my keystrokes isn't working. Edit. I don't even know what the real name. There it is. Split. No. Oh, don't tell me they changed it. No. Sorry. I'm looking for the split tracks. What is it called? Jill, what is it called? It's really funny. I've got a keystroke for it. Because I have a keystroke, I don't know what the command is. And the command isn't working. Split stereo. Oh, I screwed this up. I didn't make it stereo. That's why it won't split stereo. Okay, let's hear how Kyle does. It fits a lot of phone models, and it never turns the volume down or shuts the phone off. Well, I have a guest on the show today that you have never heard from before, but you have heard from his sister. This is Kyle Sheridan. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing well. It's nice to finally be invited.
Have you been wanting to be on the show for a long time?
Every day. But it's only recorded once a week, so I'm busy Sundays.
Yeah, that's exactly what the problem was.
Family man.
I wonder where he got
you
his
have a new device that you got
sarcasm.
from your father for Christmas that you're pretty excited about, and you were showing it to. Did you say you wonder where he got his sarcasm?
Yeah.
All you.
Yeah.
I'll just play this for a little while. I mean, it looked like something that a lot of people might be interested in. To set the stage, a lot of people love the Harmony remote that allowed you to control all your devices on your TV, your Fire TV and Apple TV, whatever you got. You could do all kinds of cool HomeKit integrations or Alexa integrations and be able to set a scene and control everything with one remote control. And Harmony, Logitech actually decided to stop building the Harmony remote. Now, the remote we're going to talk about is not a direct replacement for that. It does not wash your windows and drive you to work and back. It does far fewer things, but it might meet what a lot of people find as a requirements. That's what I'm hoping to see whether that's true.
Yeah, I accidentally entered the smart remote market at the time of a great shift in who reigned supreme. So I accidentally have something interesting to talk about.
That's good.
Hopefully.
All right. So the remote control that you got, what is the name of it?
It is the Sofa Baton U1 remote, I believe is the official name.
That's kind of a cool name, Sofa Baton.
Sofa Baton, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you're supposed because you're supposed to pass it off because it's good at handing things between different inputs. I guess that's what they're going for. Less of like a baton, like you're going to hit someone with it, I would hope. But we can talk about the ergonomics of the controller later.
Yeah. So the remote is programmable, correct?
Yes.
And how do you program it on the device itself or some other way?
Yeah. So it is programmed entirely through the smartphone app. I mean, you use the remote while you program it, but it is mostly being done through the smartphone app, where you download specific codes that they have a database of IR and Bluetooth and codes, so they know which remotes and what devices you're linking to. So you search your device in their database, and then once you find your exact device, assuming it's there, they have, I don't know, something 40,000, 400,000, a crazy number. We'll get to what happens if it's not there, but there's a lot of stuff in there. I was able to find all of my devices, which weren't that many, but all of my devices were in their database already. Once you find your device, it downloads that specific code that it needs to be the remote to your remote from.
Hey, I'm going to stop real quick. Steve, did they release the advanced one?
Yes, I believe they have. You mean the one that works with Wi-Fi?
Because
Yeah,
I've got a segment
did.
I was going to read after he was done to say this is coming soon.
I think they did. I'll check if you're continuing to play.
Okay, yeah, that's really important because I was gonna say, yeah, you should keep an eye out for it.
Hold on.
Okay, I'll play and then start hollering when you're ready, and that way I can talk
From
about
your
it.
phone to the remote. So you connect to the remote and your phone via Bluetooth, and it downloads the code from the internet to your phone to the remote.
Yeah, that sounds complicated, but I've watched it. Steve do it because spoiler, Steve bought one after he saw how cool it was, the one he got for Kyle. So when you just basically, the easy stuff is right on the front screen, right? There's like Fire TV, Apple TV. You just press it and it goes, okay, I got that one now.
Yeah, they've got like 6, frequently used, and you just download that one, and it already knows it. But for the more exotic things of the world, you have to search for it. But
Oh, I thought the link you sent was the new one.
No,
Steve.
No.
Okay.
That's the regular one. The semi-smart, not the fully smart.
So the X1 is the new one, and there's a link in the show notes. You can just go right to it.
Yeah, but that takes you to their page, which is not a page where you can buy one. It just
I know, but it should say whether it's available or not. I'll just go click the link. I'll let
it's
it
still a
right.
very easy process.
And once you've downloaded it, what do you see on the remote control?
You get to name it in the smartphone app. You name it whatever you want to name it, and it has a choice of 5 or 8 different little icons you can give it. Something that looks like a receiver, something that looks like a TV, something that looks like maybe a DVD player. You can pick an icon so it visually looks different. Fire Stick has the little Amazon arrow smiley face looking thing, so that so there's some uniqueness there, but. So then on the remote, at the top of the remote, there's I don't know what the exact size is, 1 by 3 inch screen or 2 by 3 inch screen, probably smaller, but little OLED screen that lists all of your devices that the remote has the option to control. And so it shows the icon you picked and the name that you gave it.
So after you throw a couple of things in there, what did you program for yours?
So I have a relatively small house, and with that a relatively small living room, and with that a relatively simple AV setup. Had a receiver and surround sound, but in a 200 square foot room, like it wasn't very necessary to have Dolby 18.1 when I'm 5 feet from the TV. So no longer have a receiver. It's just a TV, Apple TV, Fire Stick, and a sound bar. So no receiver or anything like that, but those devices.
So you programmed you downloaded the codes for the 4 of those.
Yes. Yeah, there was one, the sound bar it was not clear what the model, like you have to look up the model number. That's how you look it up. You don't just type in like Sony TV or Samsung TV, because there's about 1 billion of them. But for the TV, it was easy enough to look on the back of it. Let's find the actual model number, type that in, and then it showed up. The sound bar that I have was it wasn't clear what the model number was, so I think I was able to find it by typing in just the manufacturer, and then found like a list of 5 that they had. It's like, oh, that looks like what I'm seeing on the back. It just wasn't clearly identified as this is the model number, because it was words, not just numbers.
Well, wait, didn't you save the original box like Dad and I taught you?
Yeah, it's in my attic, storing a very long, skinny piece of Christmas decor.
So it probably is there. Okay, so now you've got. Okay, I'm going to cut this off. You guys have to listen to the full show.
Okay.
What were you going to ask?
I was just going to add something about our experience, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I end up talking about your use of it in the interview. I mean, you can tell the audience right now if you want.
Well, I'll see if you cover what I wanted to say or not.
No, you're not going to hear it. It was real time.
So I just wanted to
interview.
mention that when they don't have the device, I think Kyle touched upon this, but I was surprised that you actually send the device via email. No, via email to Sofa Baton. Let me get my screen on. Whoops. So you send your device number, and within a day they come back and they say, okay, download this.
We added it.
And it's added to the remote. So they've got people who are figuring out the codes for your specific device that you're trying to control that wasn't in their database. And they have a pretty extensive database, but occasionally you run across something that's not in there, they just add it. So I was impressed.
That was crazy how fast.
Turnaround.
And he had read that in the Amazon comments beforehand, and it was totally true.
I'm not sure I believed it until it actually worked for me.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to keep talking. I'm not going to do the chapter mark just yet, Kevin, but be at the ready as soon as I stop this segment to do it. Follow you online in any way?
Oh.
You're not a big... Actually, I'm going to back up a little bit because the ending's funny.
I think that was all.
I like it. Well, this is pretty cool. So if you look up Sofa Baton on Amazon is where we found it.
Yep.
Or, of course, there will be a link in the show notes. I don't think you probably want people to follow you online in any way. You're not a big tweeter.
I'll come back if I need to.
All right. We'll have people come back for questions. All right. Thanks a lot, Kyle. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Well, if you're in the market for an inexpensive but powerful universal remote right now, both Kyle and Steve would recommend the Sofa Baton U1. However, If you really wish it was more like the Harmony remote that you can no longer buy, you might want to consider waiting just a little bit before ordering. On the Sofa Baton website, they show the new X1 model, which they say they expect to have available on Amazon in January of 2022. So they have tomorrow to get that to come out on time if they make it. So the new version, the X1, has a sleeker design, but more importantly, it comes with a wireless hub like the Harmony used to have. With the wireless hub, you don't have to be so explicit about where you point the remote, as Kyle so eloquently described. Now, if I'm reading the website correctly, it sounds like you could also get the capability of the Harmony where you can control Wi-Fi devices with the remote as well, creating scenes for TV watching. They describe being able to create what they call customized actions, such as lowering a projector screen, turning on a projector, switching to AV mode, and turning the amplifier on. Now, they don't show any pricing on the new X1, but I bet it's going to cost a lot more than the $50 U1. Something to consider, though, when it does come out. All right.
So, yeah, that's another thing I wanted to add is that even the X1, the simpler model, you can program buttons. They call them actions. I forget the exact name.
Yeah,
actions. You can control multiple devices with a single button push. So a receiver, a TV, as many devices.
It's not the same though as the scene things where you can say, "Hey lady, TV time," and your hue lights go down and your curtain comes, your curtains close and all that kind of nonsense.
Right. It's got to be the actual AV devices, not the smart devices.
Right.
That you're controlling.
Okay, I'm gonna do a.
Kyle is not here. That was recorded, Alan.
Yes. podfeed.com/Patreon. You might wonder why that isn't a text expander snippet. It's because it normally is all wrapped in a bunch of HTML when it's a snippet. All right. Okay, keep going here. Muting Steve. It's time to celebrate the last of our 3-year patrons. Frank O'Carroll, Frank Voss, Jill McKinley, and Ryan Winkler pledged back in 2019 to support the work we do here at the Podfeed Podcast. They went to podfeed.com/Patreon and signed up to pledge an amount in the currency of their choice that reflects the value they get out of the show. By default, you pledge an amount per show published, and I only charge for the NosillaCast. See, here's why it's such a great deal. You pledge for the NosillaCast, you get Programming by Stealth and Chit Chat Across the Pond Light for free. I mean, it's such a great deal. Now, let's say you put in $2 per show, but $8 per month is more than you want to pledge. You can then go in and change the max monthly amount. I know that sounds like a kind of a goofy way to get what you want to pledge per month, but it does give you complete flexibility. If you've been listening for a long time and haven't yet become a patron, take the lead from the Franks, Jill, and Ryan to help support the show. Go Jill. Go Jill.
Go Frank. Go Frank. We have to have equal representation here.
That's true. That's true. Frank O'Carroll's here and Jill's here. You guys are contributing. You guys are playing in the chat room. You're pledging money. Man, you guys rock. Both of you. All right. Inexpensive but effective video lighting with the Logitech Lytro Glow. Doesn't Steve look lovely, Kevin? No? I feel like we have a longer lag tonight. What do you think?
Yeah. There we go.
Do you like the lighting? Yeah, and this thing...
No, she
I'm
meant
gonna
mine.
mess everything up. Oh, yeah. Okay. Just in case you didn't remember seeing it last week, this is the whole unit, and it telescopes, which actually, I said last time, or when I was talking about it, I wasn't sure that the telescoping was all that important, but this gets it up and away enough to get it at a good angle on my laptop screen. It does make it kind of top heavy, and when I was trying the Logitech C920 next to it, my laptop kept opening up too far. So, and then on the back, it's got buttons here. So this is the power button, and one of these is brightness, and the other one's color temperature. And I think I have it as low. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this gets pretty bright.
So this is probably brightness. Let's see how bright it can. Oh, no, that's color. This is brightness. It's blinding me. I think I had it at the lowest brightness.
Yeah, I've got mine at the lowest.
What color temperature you using, dear?
Medium. I think there are 5 settings. It's like 3.
Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to go. Alistair's going to be last here. I had a tough time calling the order on this one.
Why, wait. Well, so he's next, isn't he?
No. Inexpensive but effective video lighting with Logitech Lytro Glow.
I thought we were already done with it. You've been talking
really
about it so much.
Don't pay attention to the show. All right, let's see. I need some more of this fine Ballast Point Sculpin IPA.
I wonder if anyone's listening that could help you out there. On my way. Wow.
No. I'm good. Actually, I probably will need some more. We have hot and cold running Sculpin at this house.
It truly is on tap.
I finally know a guy. You know, I remember going to a Laker game, and I got the worst tickets. I paid like $200 a ticket, and we were in the top row, second to the top row. We weren't actually leaning against the wall at the back of the forum. But I remember everybody telling me, "Don't you know a guy?" It's like, if I knew a guy, would I have been sitting in seats so bad that the usher laughed when she saw where our seats were? And so, let me.
At your service.
More beer, please.
I'll wait to see if you're recording when
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, this is good. Did you ask for more beer, Steve?
Apparently not. Oh, maybe I did.
Anyway, so finally I know a guy. I know a guy. Lindsay's husband, Nolan, is a bigwig at Ballast Point, so that's why we're making jokes about this. All right. I am going to start up here. She better not interrupt me for beer. Jeez. Okay, Steve has already muted himself. When the world started working from home, people had to learn how to do video calls in an environment built for making dinner, watching TV, and wrestling with the children. Most people's setups were pretty bad, but over time, people began to realize that they could up their game by buying better equipment, like a grown-up webcam. One of the trickier parts of having a good video presence is lighting. I remember long ago when one of the video guys at work explained to me quite vividly why lighting is so important to video. I know it sounds obvious, but bear with me. We were on a video call together at the time that he explained this. He started by asking me to think about photos taken in low light and how any movement while the shutter was open caused the image to blur. You know, we've all experienced that problem, right? He then turned off his own studio lighting and waved his hand in front of the camera, demonstrating that it looked blurry to me, just like in a still photo. He turned his lighting back on and waved his hand again, and it was much crisper. I think about that lesson as I seek better solutions for lighting when I'm on camera at home. It's not just about making your face brighter, it's about making the image crisp and clear even when you're moving. One of the most popular designs in an in-home setup lighting is a ring light. You can buy these from many manufacturers, and they successfully provide a very soft light to your entire face, which is great. The downside is that your pupils or glasses get this kind of scary-looking ring reflection from the light. I've got what might be a better solution that's not as expensive at all, but first I'd like to walk through the solutions I've tried before now. I have a tall standing lamp to the right of my computer screen, and it can throw off a good bit of light. Even though the glass is frosted that's around the 3 bulbs, the light is very harsh and simply washes out one side of my face. Many years ago, I bought 2 relatively inexpensive LED light panels on the recommendation of a friend. These light panels had clamps that go onto your monitor, which made me queasy every time I took them on and off. The light from those panels was still too harsh, so my friend suggested I simply get a sheet of gauze and tape it over them. While I followed his advice, it looks simply awful with this blue tape holding down this flimsy fabric that's fraying. It was a very effective and inexpensive solution to providing even and yet bright light on my face. I remember Sarah Lane saying, "Wow, did you get a new camera?" the first time I used them on the Daily Tech News show. I mentioned having to take the light panels on and off, and that's because they were battery operated. The batteries didn't last very long, and getting them out to recharge them was very difficult, so I gave up on the light panels entirely. My next lighting solution was an Elgato Key Light Air for $130. It's a light panel that's around 7 inches square with a nice diffuser on it so you don't have to blue tape a square of gauze over it to soften the light. The square panel is on a tall black stand that can be telescoped up and down. The light panel can be rotated up and down as well to get the light at the right angle. Now, if you're fancy, you'd buy 2 of these lights to give even lighting to your face. But now you're talking about $260 and a lot of desk space for the base of the light stand. You can control the Key Light Air's color, temperature, and brightness, as well as turn the light on and off using a menu bar app or with an app on your phone. It sounds funny to use an app to turn a light on and off, but there's 2 reasons this is awesome. One is because the physical switch on the back of the light is really hard to find. I've owned this light for like 2 years. I've never found it on the first try. The Key Light Air is a Wi-Fi device, so it's visible on your network. This means you can program control of the light into HomeKit if you're willing to do some jiggery-pokery with Homebridge to get it in there. Now, since jiggery-pokery is one of my favorite sports, of course I did that. And that allows me to turn my Key Light Air on and off with my HomeKit automation is showtime. The Key Light Air from Elgato is a good solution, but it's a bit pricey for people just trying to look a little more professional on business calls, and it definitely is not portable. On occasion, like right now, Steve and I do the live show from Lindsay's house, and I've been keeping my eyes open for a good solution for broadcasting on the road. Now, Logitech may have come out with a near-perfect solution to better lighting at home for not that much money. They just introduced the Logitech Lytro Glow. At $60, the price is definitely right. Now, Lindsay was quick to point out that the ring light she bought was only $20, so maybe this is a little more expensive, but I think $60 is really good for the price of this light. The Lytro Glow has a very interesting form factor, and it's a bit hard to describe. At the top is the light panel itself, which is 3.5 inches square, with a very effective diffuser for that soft light that we're seeking. The light panel is mounted on top of a long plastic bar, which at its shortest is 7 inches long, but it can extend to 10.5 inches long. This plastic bar goes behind your display for stability. You gently rest the Lytro Glow on top of your display with a little L bracket that sticks out of the front of the support bar, and that keeps it from flipping over backwards. You'd think this L bracket would be short so that it would sort of clip onto a laptop display, but instead, at its narrowest, it's 1.5 inches wide, and it can extend to nearly 2.5 inches wide. This means that with basically any display, the Lytro Glow is tilted back and away from you. I feel like I'm kind of missing something about why it's designed to tilt back like that, but it doesn't hinder the effectiveness of providing great light. With the Lytro Glow, it's hard to not say Lytro Glow. With the Lytro Glow resting on top of your display, you can rotate the face of the light panel from right to left and up and down to get just the right angle for you. They explain in the instructions that if you rotate the light panel clockwise enough times, it actually unscrews and can then be mounted on a standard 1/4-20 tripod mount. The Lytro Glow is very small and very light at just a smidge over 6 ounces, 177 grams, and that makes it very portable for on-the-road lighting. Steve and I both took our lights with us down to San Diego to... ad-libbing here. Nope. 20 tripod mount. The Lytro Glow is very small and very light at just a smidge over 6 ounces, 177 grams, which makes it very portable for on-the-road lighting. If you're not a road warrior, but do have to set up and break down your computer, say for dinner to be served on your kitchen table desk, this is also a great solution for you. Most importantly, and of course I've buried the lead 1,200 words into my story, is that the Logitech Lytro Glow provides really good lighting for video. I put 3 photos in the show notes taken with the internal webcam on a 2021 14-inch MacBook Pro. While this webcam is an improvement from previous Apple laptops, it still struggles with low light like any small sensor camera. The first photo is taken with no light coming from in front of me at all, but with a small lamp to my side. The image is very soft and fuzzy looking, and of course my face is kind of dark as well. My hair on the side away from the lamp is one continuous blob of brown. The second image I supplied is with the Key Light Air. The photo is very crisp with the Key Light Air, but it's also rather harsh. It was taken with the brightness almost all the way down and the temperature almost as warm as it can go. The key light is on the desk off to one side of the Mac, so I've got shadows on the other side of my face. Again, I talked about you'd have to buy 2 of them to get really even lighting. On the side closer to the key light, you can see the detail in my hair, but on the opposite side where I don't have a key light, it's lacking detail. The final image is taken with the Logitech Lytro Glow, also set to a very dim level and on the warmer side of the temperature scale. Because the Lytro Glow can be mounted on the display directly in front of me, the light is very even across my face. As a result, my facial features are crisp, and you can see my curly hair in detail on both sides. I will admit, though, that I did tilt my face down a little bit for the photo to minimize the reflection of the Lytro Glow in my glasses. I played around with telescoping the Lytro Glow up and rotating the light panel left and right and didn't find any configuration that allowed me to look right into the camera lens without a reflection on my glasses. I did check how I looked without my glasses, and unlike the ring lights, the flatter reflection of the Lytro Glow on my eyes didn't look spooky. On the Logitech website for the Lytro Glow, they have the hashtag, it's hashtag creators for BIPOC. If you haven't seen the acronym BIPOC before, it stands for Black, Indigenous, People of Color. If you got any colors of skin darker than Caucasian skin, you know that getting your face lighted correctly can be really difficult. Too much light and your skin can look ashy. Too little light and your facial features just blend together. The model for all of the photos and videos on the Logitech website for the Lytro Glow is an African American gentleman. They have one photo where you can drag a slider back and forth over his face to see how much better he looks with the Lytro Glow. I like their marketing angle here because it's a real problem to be solved. Stopping because it says here, H-E-A-R. Sandy? I like their marketing angle here.
What's wrong with here?
It was spelled H-E-A-R instead of H-E-R-E. I did not, Kurt. Kurt. Let me make sure. While Kurt is asking. Kurt. Uh-oh. Kurt, shoot an email to me to remind me to look for your review because I'm not showing it in this week's folder or next week's folder. Just say, Allison, you big deadbeat. Where's my review? Or if there's an email that you sent me. What did I do with that? It's not even ringing a bell. What was it for? I don't want to do that. I don't want to miss one of Kurt's. Kurt does great reviews. I like their marketing angle here because it's a real problem to be solved. Okay. All right. Sandy, you're on probation. All right. It's not time for a chapter mark, and it's not your job to tell me. Here we go. Now that you know that the Lytro Glow is inexpensive, portable, and provides good lighting, let's get back to the mechanics of how it works. The Lytro Glow is USB powered, and they recommend using a power source that provides 5 volts, 1 amp, and they specifically suggest using USB 3.0 ports. Annoyingly, the Lytro Glow comes with a USB-C to USB-A cable, so they suggest using a PC with a USB-A 3.0 port or, and I'm quoting here, your Mac's Thunderbolt dock. How about just including USB-C to USB-C cable instead so Macs don't have to use a dock? Sure, this makes it more backward compatible to sell it this way, but let's get with the times, folks. Anyway, they point out that you can power your Lytro Glow using a power bank or external power adapter, which I'm actually doing right now for the live show. But after they tell you you can do it, and they have a video all about it, they say, we don't recommend it. They don't say why they don't recommend it, but I think it's because they're worried these other sources won't provide enough power. They do mention that if you don't have a high enough battery or enough power delivery from the battery, it would actually be dimmer. The light wouldn't be as bright. Also, if it's plugged into your computer, you can use their Logitech G Hub software to control the brightness and color temperature of the Lytro Glow. As I mentioned with the Elgato Key Light Air, I vastly prefer using the software to do something as simple as turning it on and off because the power button is so difficult to find. In contrast, the Lytro Glow has a very easy-to-reach power button, and the color temperature and brightness controls are easy to find as well. Now that I'm at it, that sentence ended with as. Easy to find as, but then never finished the sentence. All right.
Maybe as well as something else?
No, it was supposed to be as well. It's capital G space capital H capital U capital B. G Hub. Not Jihad software, no. I am not fond of the software. It's too big. There we go. Controls are easy to find as well. Okay. Muting Steve. I have to say that I tend to pick one color temperature and brightness and I just stick with it. But if you like to change things up constantly, you might find the G Hub software useful to you. Sadly, the Lytro Glow is not a Wi-Fi device, so I can't easily add it to my It's Showtime automation. The color temperature range of the Lytro Glow is 2700 degrees Kelvin to 6500 degrees Kelvin, if those numbers mean anything to you. Well, actually, whether they mean anything to you or not, it's still that number. But if you prefer more human-friendly terms, they say it goes from warm candlelight to cool blue. If you want to put yourself through some torture, I can highly recommend installing the Logitech G Hub software. I'll first tell you what it can do, then I'll circle back and describe how fun it was to install. With the Logitech G Hub software, you can change the temperature and brightness settings just like you can with the buttons on the back of the light itself. The buttons on the back allow 5 levels of granularity, while the G Hub software appears to be a more continuous adjustment. The app asks for permission to use your camera so that it can show you a view of your face while you're making the adjustments. You can toggle it to none when you're done, or if you'd like to be sure it's not using your camera when you're not asking it to, you should always be able to revoke the permissions in Security and Privacy and System Preferences on the Mac. Not quite sure how that's done on Windows, but hopefully, if you're of that persuasion, you would know how to get rid of it. If you do like the idea of changing your lighting depending on what kind of video you'll be on, the G Hub software allows you to use pre-created presets or to basically create your own. They're different combinations of temperature and brightness. The app is mildly useful, but it was a royal pain to install. I tried several times with fresh downloads, and every time it would stop at 99%. I finally found a bunch of folks talking about the problem on Reddit, and one user had the solution. But you're not going to like it. It involves going into the terminal and running the installer from the command line as super user. If you don't know what any of that means, then that means you're a normal person, and this might be beyond what you're willing to do. Maybe it'll work for you, but enough of us are having a problem that it seems like it is a problem. Logitech weighed in at one point in the discussion and said, yeah, you just download the installer. And then when somebody gave the solution as super user in the terminal, they said, well, I'm glad you found a solution. Not, we'll feed that back to the developers. Anyway, the other dumb thing is that after I ran the installer, I could not find the application. Instead of being called Logitech G Hub or even just G Hub, it was called all lowercase, all one word, LG Hub. And it had no icon at all. But get this, after I quit the installer, it changed its name to Logitech G Hub and has a nice icon now. I think the problem is the installer had the same name as the application, and it's not till the installer is gone that the app could take its rightful place. Now get this though, I notice I can still use Spotlight to find it as LG Hub, which is just weird. Now, I've never been pleased with the Logitech software for any of their devices, but I do have one good thing to say about the G Hub software from Logitech. For the most part, I was able to control the Lytro Glow using VoiceOver. There were a few unlabeled buttons in the main part of the interface, and you have to know to click on the image labeled Lytro Glow to get into its settings. But after that, all of the controls were labeled, and they worked properly. Since the newer iPads have USB-C, I thought I'd give the Lytro Glow a try with my 12.9-inch iPad Pro. It works really well. If you're an iPad Zoom user, I think this would be a great addition to that mobile setup. Again, at only 6 ounces, the iPad would have no trouble holding up the Lytro Glow panel, and it's small and light enough to throw in a backpack. The iPad mini has USB-C 2 now, but the Lytro Glow is actually taller than the back of the mini when it's collapsed all the way down, so you can't really set it on top of a mini. You could, however, wait a minute, I just thought of something. I tested it in portrait mode, in landscape mode. If it was in portrait mode, it might be tall enough. I'm not sure. Anyway, you could always unscrew the light panel and put it on a tiny tripod, and then it would work great. Speaking of putting the Lytro Glow on a tripod, when I mentioned this idea to Ed Tobias, he told me a tiny tip that I absolutely did not know. This is just a bonus tiny tip in the middle, thanks to Ed. You've heard me mention over and over again that tripods use a 1/4 inch, 20 threads per inch screw. I mentioned it in 2 reviews here. And it turns out that those imperial units are even true in countries where metric is used. Here's the tip. He said, lampshades on most lamps screw on with a 1/4 inch 20 screw too. Isn't that crazy? That means if you're in a hotel room without a tripod, you might be able to use a lamp as a tripod. Think of the possibilities. This is life-changing. Anyway, the bottom line is that the Logitech Lytro Glow is super light and easy to carry as a portable setup. Even for your permanent video location, I think it's a great solution. It's relatively inexpensive at $60, and I think it provides a very nice, even lighting to your face for video work. I think it's a much more practical solution than the Elgato Key Light Air, and I actually like the lighting from it even better than the Key Light because it's directly in front of me and closer to me. The flexibility to power it from your laptop or your tablet makes it a no-brainer for the road warriors, even those whose road is from the kitchen table and back. When you try to order the Lytro Glow from Logitech's website, you may see that it says, coming soon. Don't worry about that. That's what it said when I pre-ordered, so I suspect they're just trying to limit expectations because supply chains are a mess and this is also bound to be a very popular item. I suggest ordering anyway and just being delighted whenever it does show up. Wow, long show already.
So Kevin's pointing out they talked about Allison's tiny tip on Mac Geek App. Did you submit that to them?
I did, but I gave Ed credit. Hey,
cool. So it's Ed's
I'm ready for my beer.
Oh, actually, I have it here. Hold on.
She delivered it to you?
Yeah, she didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, save an Ed chapter mark. Thank you, dear. I'm sitting there going, I'm parched. I shouldn't be parched in a house with hot and cold running beer.
Warming up the whole time.
Oh,
that was a long post. Now she's coming to probably defend herself.
I'm sure she did. Oh, look how that logo looks so great.
Well, she was recording a long time.
Delicious. All right. I did not know they read that on the Maggie Gab. Cool. I sent it to them because I remember Dave Hamilton doing it's something awesome. He had a paper towel roll and he stuck his microphone down into the paper towel roll, so it was at the right height for him. I thought that was a really slick solution. I thought, man, now he could have the paper towel roll and a lamp next to him. All right. Do some Mike Price magic. I didn't see Mike Price here tonight.
No.
Did he send a written excuse? Save. Oh, Kevin's now defending Lindsay as well.
He also
right,
defended Sandy.
Really? Well, I didn't pick on Sandy.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's on probation. Come on. Hard to get good help. 2 typos. I mean, one to ended a sentence on a verb.
Allison, it's free help.
Cutting her salary back.
Oh, too interested in content. Good cover, Sandy.
Good save.
Yes.
All right. And now my tinny little voice followed by Alistair Jenks. Just being delighted whenever it does show up.
With a lot more working from home lately, I'll let you figure out why, I discovered that my study, you North Americans may call it a den, just wasn't a nice place to work for an 8-hour day. Part of that was not having much room to move. It is half the size of a standard bedroom, but most of it was my tiny desk. A diminutive 1.2 by 0.75 meters. It barely had room for the basics, and it had no means of adjustment, except one of those keyboard tray thingies that sagged to almost, but not entirely, exactly the wrong height, and which had wicked sharp workings underneath that did do serious damage to knees. There was also a contraption underneath passing itself off as a footrest, which I didn't need, but was not removable. In fact, the footrest completely prevented me from putting my feet flat on the floor, which is where they should generally be. It had served its purpose. I've had it about 25 years, but it needed to go. Imagine my luck when, in mid-October, my employer negotiated a few work-from-home equipment deals with some local suppliers, and one of them sold desks, but not just any desks. I have been seeing a physiotherapist through most of 2021 for problems with my back. I've just about beaten the problems, but I emailed him and asked, would you recommend a standing desk for my situation? His answer was an emphatic yes. I only had 2 weeks in which to order the desk, so after some procrastination and okaying the significant cost with my financial director, I placed the order. There was just one thing standing in my way. The new desk is 0.8 meters deep, but 1.8 meters long. It would fit in the study with a little work. Let's just say I've been meaning to clean up my study for a while now. 10 years is a fair estimate of how overdue this task was. It had become a kind of room of requirement in that it probably contained what I was looking for, but most things put down more than a few weeks ago ended up in a parallel dimension. I started working on clearing it out.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to play enough of Alistair's, but anything you set down ends up in a parallel dimension. Oh,
that is pretty good.
I wish I could play more, Alistair. Blame Sienna and Forbes for taking over.
So here's a link to the company, if anyone is interested.
Unfortunately, I had trouble finding to buy the one that he had, but as he says in his review, it's not sure it's available everywhere.
Okay.
About time something's not available for us that you can have, right, Alistair?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
Get caught for the next raising. I have a couple of devices that have power bricks that do not reach the floor, which I have solved for now by placing a suitable box against the wall for them to sit on.
Well, after Alistair made the recording, he sent me the model number for the desk he bought because Logitech actually has a lot of different models. The one he got was the ET203IB. Now, when I looked it up, I walked through the options that Alistair mentioned. One thing he didn't mention that I thought was pretty cool is that when you choose the controller, one of the options is a Braille controller. That's brilliant. Anyway, I keep thinking I'd like a standing desk, and he tells a compelling story here, but then I wonder, where do you keep all your stuff without drawers? How do you reach a pen, paper, cables, pull-out rules, all those things I reach for constantly in the drawers of my desk? That's the thing that's kept me from going towards a standing desk. I keep thinking maybe the solution for me is something that sits on top of my desk so I can keep all my drawers. But then I start thinking about, well, that's going to make it too tall, and my chair is already tall, and my monitor, oh, it's a big mess. I don't know what I'll do, but Alistair, that was fascinating, and I love your delivery as always. But that's going to wind us up for this week. Did you know you can email me at allison@podfeet.com anytime you like, and I'll probably actually answer you. If you have a question or a suggestion, just send it on over. You can also follow me on Twitter at Podfeet. If you want to join the conversation, you can join our Slack community at podfeet.com/Slack, where you can talk to me and all of the other lovely NosillaCastaways. Remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com. You can support the show at podfeet.com/Patreon or with a one-time donation at podfeet.com/PayPal. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, like Kyle Sheridan did tonight, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. There we go.
So I asked Alistair where he keeps all those items, pens, and
What did he
so
say?
forth. He says they're in the only certified location for such items in the Podfeet mug.
Oh.
Well played.
Okay, most of the stuff I'm not throwing out is ending up in boxes. That's not a good answer. Tall bookshelves and a very large single shelf. I think, I don't know, I'm always grabbing my, I'm always, just grabbing a ruler, a pull-out rule, a pen, a pad of paper to make notes. I can't be standing up to go get that stuff. NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. There we go. All right. Kevin says we should do a chapter marker count.
Okay.
I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Counting support the show.
And counting Kyle?
Yes. Why wouldn't Kyle be counting?
Well, it's not a real blog post, but you're counting it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes.
All right. It is time to export. And we have sushi on the way.
Ooh.
All right. I think we are all set. I kept the class late at 6:03.
You did, but they hung in there. Thank you very much, NosillaCastaways.
John just said, where can I find the links from Kyle's blog post? Okay, so here's the funny thing. No, but I was thinking about you, John, when I keep looking into the light. I should look into the camera. I was thinking about you when I did there is no blog post for his, so the link takes you directly to the thing that you want to learn about. So it takes you straight to the Sofa Baton website. So that link is actually the one for you because it goes where you want it to go instead of going to a blog post and then secondarily getting to everything else.
Maybe we should label
it
John's link. Yeah. Relabel it.
I was telling John, I'd like him to go through a typical show, let's say one that has security bits on it, and make one post that has every link that's involved. So Bart's security bits is already like 70 links by itself.
Yeah, that one that contributes the most probably.
I'm not worthy. Nice. All right. See you next week, Rose. All right. I think we're all set. Should we cut the show off, Steve?
I think we shall.
All right. Let me say goodbye from Ballast Point, Sculpin. Bye, everybody. Bye, Rose.
Good night, Gracie.